All right, I'm going to see how this live goes. I have promised my friend Ruth Crocombe that I would try and do a little segment on the stolen generations because she's got some students with that topic coming up for a history assessment. And there's Eamon. You want to say hi? Say hello. And Tintin. All right, so in this instance, as with anything, I want to direct students and anyone else who's interested onto the primary sources because that's where you'll get the best understanding of the impact of the policies that saw so many Aboriginal children removed from their parents over successive decades. So the best place to go for information on that is the Bringing Them Home report, and I'll post a link to that underneath this video. The main thing is that the policies over several decades put an extraordinary amount of power in the hands of people in government to dictate the ways in which families should look for Indigenous people in Australia. Eamon, don't put the blanket on his head. Anyway, so Eamon, stop it. Chaos. So if you see the movie Rabbit Proof Fence, you'll see A.O. Neville represented. He was the head of the Aboriginal Protection Board in Western Australia for a while. I can't remember the specific years, but you'll be able to look that up too. I can put that detail in the comments too. So here's just one example. There were protectors in each state and territory, and then further down, Eamon, down the track were superintendents on missions and reserves who also had a say in how who stayed on missions and reserves. You need a haircut?
No, a friend of mine.
Oh. Well, who needs a haircut now?
Give me the other haircut.
Okay.
On candy.
You want Candy?
No, that one.
Oh, Katie. You want Katie. Katie's Amazing Machines on ABC. Yeah, and so the state I'm most familiar with in regards to this is Queensland, and on a bunch of the missions and reserves you can see how superintendents were picky and choosing who could come on and off reserves, who was sent out to work on different farms and in homes around the state, and yeah, people didn't get really much say in how their family would look, the time they would spend together, that kind of thing.
Well, I'm going to catch you.
You're going to catch me? Oh, no. Uh-oh. So, hi.
I caught you.
You did? He caught me. Hey, Bubba. Just be careful with those. This is going so well. So well. Can you just be careful with those, Eamon? Eamon, can I have them back? Peter Reid is a historian who wrote a little bit about this, and he's the one who I'm pretty sure coined the term stolen generations. And it just became a way for people to recognise that their experience of being removed was not in isolation. So there were lots of people who went through the same thing in different places, different times. But the experience of removal was very similar. So
show me.
I'll show you, honey. Do you want to see how you put glasses on? Well, you'd be very careful. Don't stretch them. Your head's so small. You don't need to pull them like that. Let me put them on. I'll show you after I finish this, okay?
I got the glasses.
Okay. So yeah, check out Rabbit Proof Fence. Peter Reid's good. There are plenty of biographies you can read, but the Bringing Them Home report is going to be the most significant source that you can turn to better understand people's experience of removal. Oh my goodness. The upside down, honey. Classic. Okay, and then there was the apology made by Kevin Rudd, and what I've seen most when students have written about stolen generations is that people think that was an apology for anything ever done to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, but it was specifically about the government policies that allowed for the removal of children from their families. And so there's still, it was seen as a very symbolic gesture rather than something that was able to bring like serious tangible change to people. But I think that it went a long way in healing some of the hurt that had been done. And you'll find a lot of sources talk about intergenerational trauma as well. So just because someone may not have been the one removed. Hello, Clever Chops. He figured it out. They look good. Just because someone wasn't the one removed doesn't mean that they weren't impacted, because people whose parents were removed, sometimes they experienced some of the hurt that their parents had gone through in different ways too. So that's one of the big things that gets talked about and is still an issue that people are facing. So yeah, go to those sources. That's probably the best of the advice I can give at this stage. And there you'll be able to find other sources online. There's an amazing group called Link Up, which has connected people who were removed with their families. There used to be a documentary that I used when I was teaching with Noah Reisman at ACU, and it would show people being reconnected with their families. So I might try and find that too. I can't remember the name of that one. But yeah, hopefully that helps and leaves you a little bit more aware of what that part of our history is for those of you in Australia. I better go deal with these two. But have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.